of Northern New Jersey. So happy to have some time with you together on this Friday, this beautiful Friday too, TGIF in a big way. And so much so that I brought the broadcast outside. I'm sitting on my deck today. So who knows what lovely weed whacker sounds and air blowers that we'll hear, but it seemed worthy of the potential just to have some sun. We're so happy to have this opportunity to connect with you today. As you know, YWTV is a opportunity for us to stay engaged and inspired and educated during this time that we are sheltering in place. And today we have a real treat for you. We're really ending the week on a high point, having two women that I consider sheroes, and just the master networkers that I know out there across the country, not even just here locally. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to catch up with them. So with that, let me introduce. I'm sure many of you know who they are, but for those who don't, we have Linda Wellbrock. On my one side, Linda is the founder and CEO of Leading Women Entrepreneurs. She's a sought after speaker. She's a trailblazer, power player, and a catalyst for change, who spent the last decade advancing women entrepreneurs and executives in ways of reaching ultimate success. She is a Wall Street alumni and a former corporate executive for Fortune 500 companies, including Merrill Lynch and UBS. And she is now a serial entrepreneur and a creator of the LWE platform. She highlights efforts and accomplishments of the most creative and influential women across the country. And so happy to have you here this morning, Linda. And we also have with us Tara Gilvar, who is the CEO of B.I.G, which is Inspire, Grow. Believe, Inspire, Grow, right? Believe, right. Inspire, Grow, a women's empowerment organization that offers women the inspiration, community, and tools that they need to move their lives both forward personally and professionally. She's also a master connector and visionary and has dedicated more than a decade to helping women live their best lives. And she believes that every woman has gifts and talents that deserve to be shared in the world. She professes that when women work together, they support and empower each other. It makes the world a better place. And Tara actually spoke at our women's conference.
Yes.
I won't say how many years ago now.
Several years ago.
But she's been a longtime supporter of the YW, and we're so grateful to have her back finally. It's been way too long that we've had the opportunity to talk with Tara. And this is the first time we've had the opportunity to talk with Linda formally. And I hope it's the first of many. So welcome, ladies. So happy to have you.
Me too. Thank you for inviting us. It's great to see you, even if it's virtual.
Yes. And I guess for now, it is virtual for a while for all of us, right?
Right.
And that's partly why I thought to invite both of you to join us today. As you both know, and we know all of our friends at the YW that we work closely with. We have so many women in our community that really rely on networking for their connections, for work, for their businesses. And this also is a time where so many of the women that we work with are really struggling because their businesses can't operate in kind of their normal stead. And so many of the women that we work with have been laid off and are unemployed right now. So networking is more important than ever.
Right.
So I thought this was a great opportunity. I mean, I couldn't think of two women that were more entrenched in networking 101, and basically I think have trailblazed the way on new and exciting and different ways to gather women together to support each other. So I love appreciated you being available and love the opportunity to chat with you. So maybe can you each take a few moments just to share a little bit about your organizations that you've both created and given birth to, because they're both incredibly impressive. Maybe Tara, you want to start, and then we'll let Linda talk, and then we can jump into some more details.
Sure. So I'm sort of unlike Linda, who is a purposeful entrepreneur, I'm a little bit of an accidental entrepreneur. In 2009, when the economy was not in a good situation, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up in my 40s, I discovered there's so many women that were sitting on the sidelines that we're not using all their amazing opportunities and talents, similar to today for different reasons, but and that maybe we could find a way that we could become professionally connected and keep our family commitments sacred. And clearly this situation shows us how much we are committing to our families and this time that we have and how important that is. And we probably never want to give that up again the way we had before the pandemic. But in 2009, I saw a bumper sticker on a teacher's car that said, "Remember who you wanted to be." And I was not that girl. And I sent out an email to all the other women I knew like me, and 43 women showed up in my house and said, "Okay, what can we do with our lives and do this in a way that's not so disruptive to our families?" And that's how BIG started. It was believe, inspire, grow, believe in yourself, because a lot of times when you're not doing what you really thought you were going to be doing in your life, you lose your sense of self, you lose your self-esteem, you lose your mojo. I mean, I think we're hearing a lot of that right now again. And then you have to get inspiration, and you have to go to other sources like other women and have each other build each other up. And yes, you have your families, and yes, you have your friends, but there's nothing like like-minded women who, the entrepreneur world, and as Linda will probably tell you, is a very different world. We think differently. Not everyone understands why we're so passionate about it, because it doesn't just bring in a natural paycheck every week. But it's a wonderful place to be. So we're on our 13th year. We've had over 5,000, 6,000 women who've been part of us. We've had presentations at the YW, which has been great and fun. And we try to take away the intimidation and take away the sense of doubt and just give women what they need to feel like they can move one step forward in their life. And so we're grateful to have that opportunity. And, it's scary. We didn't know. We were a live in person every month, 30 group meetings a month in person in communities. And when this happened, like you said, in mid-March, we didn't know what was going to happen. So we had to, I hate the word pivot now. Everybody uses it. But I say adjust the sails. We had to adjust our sails.
Well, looking forward to hearing more about how you did that. And I have to say, I've sat in on some of your meetings and your Montclair pod and when you're in Bergen County, and so in person. So I've personally been there to see how uplifting and supportive the environment that you've created is.
Well, I'm glad to tell you that we didn't know, and I probably wouldn't have risked it if we didn't have to, but we're still doing individual meetings by town online, and it has most of everything you get in the live pretty much can be translated over the video programming, and the women are just as vulnerable and just as supportive. So, it's opened up a range of opportunities. So we're thinking differently.
Yeah, well, look forward to hearing more about that. Linda, tell us a little bit about your organization that you've created. And I know that's a national effort as well.
Sure. Absolutely. So to Tara's point about our passion around entrepreneurship, I really can't respect anything more than a person, especially a woman, who is able to create something out of nothing. And really that's what entrepreneurs and innovators do. And I went out on my own 10 years ago to really credit and raise the visibility platform and recognize women who were successful and in innovating and road. And it doesn't matter if you make $1 million or you lose $1 million. There's nobody to applaud you for that. There's nobody for you to kind of say, you don't get it, I'm low on cash flow. So my mission 10 years ago was to raise the visibility platform. I'm the founder of a company called Leading Women Entrepreneurs. And we do that by recognizing women and now men through our top 25 platform. And over the past decade, we've recognized over 500 of the top and women execs in the state of New Jersey. And we've evolved actually over the years to providing networking events, and we've done global retreats. Tara and I have partnered on a few of them. We've gone to Norway, Ireland, Cuba, Spain. So we've sort of taken the creating relationships outside the borders of New Jersey with a global mindset, because that's I think the world that is, again, breaking down those barriers. So I'm excited for that. I mean, that's going to be one of the great things that comes out of this.
Yes, and I know that it's for everyone a great honor when they are recognized by your organization, Linda, and it's quite an event that you do. So let's talk about that a little bit, Linda. So let's start with you. How has so many of your events really, a lot of them are the pomp and circumstance of being together historically, right? Now that we're doing this all remotely,
Yeah.
how have you, and I'm with Tara, the word pivot is already like, makes me cringe because everyone has to say it, but I guess it is the word, right? How have you guys had to
Yeah.
pivot to stay strong?
Well, I had a funny conversation because we're in the midst of the Force for Change Awards. And I talked to one of the nominees yesterday. He said, so do you want me, or do you have tables at your event? And I said, well, events used to be great when people were actually at them, but now that's not the case anymore. So I really don't know how this is going to work. With that said, Tara and I have come together to offer an entire series of digital virtual events that basically cover so many different topics, including masterminds and speed networking. And we launched something called the VIP Exchange, where people can visit and see if there's topics that would be interesting for them. But really, the purpose is to continue to stay relevant during a time where you cannot get out there and shake hands, definitely. But you need to stay relevant, and you need to keep active with the communities that you're well networked with in order to continue to do business. I mean, I always say something really simple but profound, and it lends true in a pandemic or not, that no one can do business with you if they don't know that you exist. And it's true. I mean, Zoom offers and the technology we're using today, Zoom offers us to be connected with people. Nomination is another way for you to be involved online with a community that you're being introduced to. So I think between LWE World and forceforchangenj.com and the VIP Exchange, online opportunities that, again, it was probably the first week of the pandemic, and it was like, okay, I have 15 live events planned right now. All of them have to be postponed or canceled or whatever. What am I going to do, right? And so we just had to get out there and try it and see if it worked, and so far so good. So it's an exciting time to try new things and continue to innovate and think creatively.
Yeah, it is. It is nice and interesting to see how we've all had to figure out a new normal and then see what sticks from that, for sure. So let's bring Tara back into the conversation and hear a little bit. I know you started to tell us, Tara, a little bit about how B.I.G has, done the pivot and, kind of kept going and kept engaged. Tell us a little bit more, if you would.
Well, we actually, and I encourage other women entrepreneurs to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or see something. What I've noticed is the way that we came inside before the pandemic is not necessarily the way that we have to go back outside after the pandemic. We have this opportunity to do things really differently because the world isn't expecting us to do it the same. So for us, the original last 12 years has been live meetings in all these communities and community by community. And we focused on that. It had its Achilles heel in that I couldn't go to multiple communities if I didn't have a leadership team in that community. So it kept us geographically limited. And so when we pivoted, I know that word, when we adjusted our sales, and we're forced, and the world was forced to learn technology. The people that were resistant had to face the fact that they had to embrace this in order to connect. It opened up a huge door of opportunity for us because the aha moment came, well, we can do most of what we did in person on Zoom or through the internet online. And we don't have geographic limitations anymore. So officially yesterday, we launched a virtual membership, and we're able to go back to all those women who moved out of New Jersey and moved out of their area, or people who had friends and family and college roommates who thought big would be great for them, but we didn't have a big community in their area. And we're able to now offer this. So there's a blessing in the curse, and we're kind of excited about it. You know, everyone takes a major step backwards. That's just our reality. But the great equalizer is everyone took the big step back. I think the biggest mistake you could do is to do nothing. People are actually more welcoming, more everybody's stripped of their titles. Everybody's stripped of their business wall that they had in front of them, and their office and their secretaries and all those things. I mean, you can talk to people you probably could never have spoken to before at levels you could never have gone to. And they'll be talking to you and they'll be saying they're sorry because their dog is barking. It's a whole new world.
It's very, very true. And I know, as the ladies know, just moments ago, my daughter wandered in here and I was trying to shoot her with my hands. So
yeah,
it is.
I mean, and in such a wonderful, authentic way to be, really, right?
Really
I mean, like Linda was sharing a story, you know, she is talking to, like we said, executives that you probably would have had to go to multiple times to reach, who say, yeah, sure, I'm around. They have time they haven't had, right? They haven't had their hair cut. They're wearing baseball hats if they're men or women. You know, it's a very vulnerable, authentic time, and people should embrace it. I mean, I think the worst thing you can do is play victim, because, like you said, before you came on, you know, you're not looking your best or wearing your makeup, or, you know, the poor dry cleaners. I don't think anybody has ever been to a dry cleaner in the last 3 months, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Right.
But you get to really strip down and find out, are these people you really wanted to work with anyway? It's this great cleansing time to say, you know what? I didn't like them anyway. I want to find people I really want to work with, you know, and magnet to those people, and then become more authentic in who you are with people. And it's working. We actually got 3 new sponsors in this 8-week period, because Linda and I both have platforms and people need to find more people. And so we've been able to glue our people together. Then thankfully with Linda, because we are closely aligned both personally and professionally, we said, let's combine our networks. We don't compete at all. And then we tripled the opportunities for people working with us because we combined our resources. We have a reach that's like 20,000 emails and hundreds of thousands on social media. And then when someone, like Linda said, needs to be seen, we can help. We said, what do we have to offer? We have connections to offer.
So for women in our community that suddenly have lost their jobs and, you know, their businesses are, you know, they're trying to figure out how to keep their businesses connected, what's some advice for them if they, you know, really haven't flipped over into, you know, networking as much as, you know, in their old world, and now they suddenly have to? What are some tips that you would give them about networking if they're not used to and comfortable with this space yet?
Why don't you take it,
Brought
Linda?
this up, Helen? Okay, sure. I said it's interesting you brought this up because I talked to a technology executive that was laid off, and it was a very internal company corporate job. And I said, you know, have you gone to any BNI groups? Have you done? And he didn't even know what BNI was. So for someone who's been out in the networking world for as long as I have, this time has been like a revelation. The people who have lived inside corporate America, this could be really scary to them. Like, wow, they really need to think entrepreneurially and to dip their toe into this. Not only dip their toe, they got to dive straight forward in to the communities that we have created in order to figure out their next step. Now, some of my advice would obviously be to check out the platforms. The VIP Exchange is a great networking platform for them, and check out all that are surfacing now, because there's a lot of them. But I think it's really important for everyone to pay special attention to their LinkedIn profile right now, and to really showcase their personality, not necessarily their business, because LinkedIn is right now, I think, one of the most powerful tools that the pandemic has kind of pointed us all to. So I would say make sure your headline is strong, make sure it's updated, and if you are unemployed or if you are in a place of transition, then go out and ask for as many referrals as you can on LinkedIn. If you can do nothing else, if you're frozen in fear right now, ask everybody you know to refer you on LinkedIn, because it's really going to have a ripple effect, and people are going to look at that. No matter what you do, they're going to look at that. They're going to Google you and find out who you know and what those people think about you.
That's great advice. And I think, it really had me thinking the last few weeks, and really what Tara just, started to talk about earlier is that, we're not going to go back to the way things were. And a lot of what people are used to and maybe have used, maybe there are a sect of us that have become networkers because of, your work, but there are other people that were working in an old school way and really hadn't flipped over into this space yet. So it did occur to me that we have so many people that may not be comfortable with this, and that's why it was such a good opportunity to talk to both of you, to give them some tips and tricks, to how to do that. But LinkedIn is a great, it's a great tool, and definitely something that people should be spending some attention to for sure. Tara, do you have any thoughts to add to that?
Yeah, I wanted to add, think about when the internet first started, it was the wild, wild west, right? So I think we're in that mode again because there's so many opportunities. I mean, anyone can host an event, right? And you're getting invitations like crazy. Come to this virtual happy hour, come to that, and it's an overwhelm. It's almost an overwhelm to the point where people shut down. So my advice there is, even though everyone has access to the same online tools, that doesn't mean that they know how to use them in a way that's effective for networking. So one of the things that's different about, and I'm very conscious of that, both for the women of B.I.G, which are the startup women entrepreneurs, the suburban women who are trying to figure out, they're not networkers. They don't belong to the chambers of commerce. Some of them don't have business cards, so they're not networkers. So they're intimidated. So what we do very much on the B.I.G side is we hold their hand and gracefully, guide them through. And we take away intimidation. We come in Zoom rooms, you're all muted. We make sure people aren't talking over you. It can be a chaos in some of these places. And if they don't have a format, if they don't have an agenda for their event, if it's just a free-for-all, you're really not going to get a lot of value out of spending your time. And quite honestly, how many hours can you stand in front of a screen? So make sure it's efficient use of your time, and make sure that the groups that you're doing have a caliber of people in the room that you actually want to meet. It's not enough to just be in a room of people if they're not your people that you're looking to work with. So we're very careful. We don't slap up our events. They're carefully planned out. The people are invited are at a certain caliber. We have an agenda for absolutely every event we do. We know how to use the breakout rooms. We know how to guide them to what they should do in those rooms. We bring them back. I mean, it's an event. It is not a throw up a screen and let everybody, and the other thing is, some of these events have one person talking to you for 45 minutes. This is a broadcast, but normally it needs to have interaction. You have to have the ability to meet these people.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice, because I do think we're all spending so much time in front of a screen all day long. And you can definitely, after you do it for a while, see who's doing it better than others, because it's a lot to stay engaged for so long. So question, are you guys, the both of you being the master networkers that you are either of you picking up the phone right now, or is everything happening on video chat? Are you doing and using any other tools?
I'm going to turn this to Linda because she loves the phone. She's a little.
I mean, Zoom has become so such a natural tool to use that it's in my calendar, and sometimes I don't know if I'm Zooming or if I'm calling or if I'm conference calling it's becoming overwhelming because I thought I was Zooming with one person, and then a completely different person popped up on my screen, and I thought, oh my God, did that, I guess I'm going to have to shift on the moment here, That's the good thing with Zoom. At least you see the faces of the person you're.
She's
Zoom
breaking up.
Working events, I value the efficiency. I'm breaking up. Am I still breaking up? Can you hear me?
Oh, hear you now. Yep, we got you now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, she's breaking up.
Zoom for a networking. No, Tara can take it over. I can't. You guys can't hear me.
So I know Linda well enough.
I'm sorry. Can you still not hear me?
Go ahead.
You're good. You're coming in and out.
Okay, I said
you're worth being patient here.
Okay, I said I value the efficiency of Zoom for the networking events because you don't have to drive an hour to get to something and then an hour home, and everybody has that efficient factor. But I still like a phone call for business development. I don't necessarily think I have to see every single person I talk to. I talk to 30 people a day at least. And Zooming with 30 people a day is too much for me. I got to make it, quick and, concise. So Zoom has its place for me. It's not everything though.
Yep. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering because I know I sometimes get my fill at some point during the day of the Zooms, but it is also nice to see people because I do feel like the way we're living right now, you see the same people every day in your house. So it's nice every now and then to see a new face. So it is a balancing act for sure. So one of the things I wanted to ask the two of you, because I happen to know this about you, is that I happen to know that you're good friends and go way back together. And we recently at our women's conference this past March, right prior to going into sheltering in place, our keynote address at our women's conference was about women friendships and how women lift each other up and how you can do more, because of that really key friendship in your life. And we had Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter and Sherelle Gross speak about their friendship, which is, I think, again, like very similar in a lot of ways to both of you. You're both power women. They're both power women. You both have a, tremendous reputation and a lot riding, on what you do every day. But, having that trust factor in another person and having someone that you can really confide in and help you, in a safe space, lift each other up, share your challenges, is really key, I think, in success. And as much, and I think, and I know one of you said it earlier, I think it was Tara, with as much as we love our families and husbands and, friends, and, it's different in some ways having someone who's connected and gets your business and gets you personally. So can you talk a little bit about your friendship and how that has helped you be more successful?
I'll go first for that one. So I don't think I would stay in this if I didn't have Linda, because it's hard to be an entrepreneur and keep the grind. And your family is intertwined in this. There's no stop time in entrepreneurship. So if you're in a fight with your husband or your kids are making you crazy or your mother is just, droning on at you, it drains your energy in a way that takes away from the other part. I mean, I'm in a women's empowerment organization. I'm supposed to be the one that makes women feel great and good and positive. And so if I'm not that, how do I lead this group? And it's not 24/7 that you can feel that way. So it's so amazing to have someone like Linda for me to share ideas with, but also to be able to share my personal life with. We are very open with each other. I think there's times when we do things for each other as friends, even if it's in business and versus for business. So Linda will ask me to read a speech or help her with some wording for something she's going to present. I do that as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Never a time that I'm looking for, oh, well, how much an hour am I going to be paid for editing your speech? It's never like that. And then there's times it's business, like the VIP exchange. We came up with a formula of how, how the monetizing of this would work and how it would be fair if, how we would do this fairly from a financial point of view. And that's a reality. Like, we can't do everything for free. So we've blended it. We had a speed bump along the way, because when you blend friendship and business, sometimes it could be misunderstandings. And so we really figured out the difference.
That's wonderful. Linda, anything you want to add to that?
She would if she could.
Yeah. I'm sure she would say ditto.
Still wonky.
Can you hear us?
So Tara I can hear you fine. Tara is definitely like my work wife and more. She she came into my life through the business world, and then I feel like she's just a sister to me in many ways, and it's nice that we have each other, because there's not so many women out there who are really in the business of advancing other women. So I feel like we were two people in the same sandbox, and there's nobody else in the sandbox, and I'm so we liked each other so much. So we genuinely have a lot in common. Right, which is
we genuinely. Oh, you're breaking up.
For women, genuinely have so
such a shame. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. But she's saying we genuinely have a lot in common anyway. And we have this genuine drive and passion for supporting women that we don't even know where it comes from, to be honest. It's the spirit is ignited in us, and it's passionate. And we're different. We're very different. The way we work is different. The way we think about things are different, but we complement things. Like, Linda can pick up the phone all day long and promote opportunities. I'm not that good at that. I'm good at delivering the promise. And so the combination of us works really well. And
that's
we
wonderful.
figured it out. But I also have, we're also different. My kids are older than hers. I'm older than her. So we have different stages in our life. My kids at one point babysat for her kids. Like, it's been a really interesting blend. And our husbands like each other. And there you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, I'm going to say it again. It was so sentimental. I hope somebody heard it. So I said, Tara and I really have a genuine interest in our higher purpose. Really is this calling to raise women up, right? And between the two of us, we've created this unified voice for all women, from stay-at-home moms all the way up to billion-dollar entrepreneurs and executives. And there's not too many people who have dedicated their lives to advancing women. So when I met Tara in that sandbox that we both play in, it was like, I finally found a friend that understands me. And so we genuinely have this passion for what we do. And it's just another blessing that, we really, really love each other as friends and as sisters. And because that combination is so powerful, it's just it's just great all around. And I think that it's because of those elements that it's an authentic connection that we're able to do so many things that help other people, and that kind of come to fruition magically, right? It's like, you know, we'll come up with an idea and it's her positive energy and my positive energy, or her strengths and my strengths. And so we're different and we both bring different things to the table, but because of our friendship and because of our trust for one another, we're able to create in a bigger way that doesn't happen all the time for everyone. So I'm very blessed to have Tara as a friend and as a business, as a work wife, as I call you.
That's right.
I love that. And you basically both just reinforced the conversation we had at our women's conference as well, that, you know, really spoke to the importance of, you know, it's wonderful to have childhood friends. It's wonderful, but, you know, meeting people through these opportunities, and they meet you at a different stage in your life when you're, you know, focused in a different way, can help elevate your purpose, you know, to a different place. And obviously your friendship has done that for both of you. And I really appreciate you sharing about it, because I do think that, you know, for so many of us, when we attend networking events, you know, we probably are thinking about our work and, you know, ways it's going to support our work. But the reality of it is every now and then there's a real gift you can find in that experience. I know I see it at the YW events. Women who have started to come to them years ago now have made friends that they, you know, are just so excited to see when they come back to the events. And I know that that's the same spirit in your events, Tara, and I know Linda's. I know Diana Pollock is on here, and she wrote, it's because of a big event that Diana and I met, and that's entirely true. We fell in love at a Montclair pod many years ago.
That's right. That's right.
Stayed in touch and, you know, worked together in lots of different ways and supported each other personally. So there is a magic that can happen.
Well, women are the nurturers of the planet, right? And we want to do business, but we want to do it with such a heart, and we want to do it with something that makes us feel like we're making an impact, not just about profit and money, although that's important. That's like an outcome. That's not the goal for women. Women want to make the world a better place. Women want to have something that they're doing that their kids look up at them and say, wow, my mom did that, or, you know, or my aunt did that. They want something that has purpose, and it's different than men. It's not better or worse, but it is different. And it takes a lot of our whole being. So we might as well enjoy it. We might as well enjoy the people we're doing it with.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure if we lost Linda again, but I'm appreciative. She, you know, in between freezing, she gave us so much, you know, so many good tips and techniques for everyone watching. And I appreciate both of you and your commitment to lifting women up and creating platforms to do that, and to continue to innovate and come up with new ways, because it's important that everyone stick close. We'll have links to both B.I.G and their website, and to LWE. And it's a great opportunity for anyone watching to go to their sites, see Force for Change, you just check out all the VIP exchange, check out all the opportunities that both Tara and Linda have, and they're connected to. Follow their social media channels and get involved. I guarantee that same way that your connection to the YW has, you know, inspired you and, you know, brought new opportunities into your life, the same will happen as you connect to these women and their organizations as well.
Thank you for all you do, Helen. You've done a tremendous thing. You're part of our tribe. Absolutely.
Well, I'm very, very grateful and happy to be there. So, and look forward to doing more together with you, and with also as well with Linda. And with that, folks, as we always say, you know, mind your mind. These are strange times and tough times and happy times, depending on the moment you're in. So when you need to plug in, when you need to unplug, keep yourself surrounded by, you know, friends, check on people, and try to have a nice weekend. Hopefully a little less homeschooling, a little less work, and a little more time to relax and do some self-care for sure. And we hope you join us next week. We'll have a whole new week of wonderful conversations for all of you. And please get outside today. I have to say, this was a really good decision I made coming out here.
You did. So, I'm going out as soon as we're done.
Yes, I encourage everyone to do all their Zoom calls from their decks today, from their outside. Stay close so that you don't lose your Wi-Fi, but definitely stay outside. But Tara, thank you. Linda, thank you too. And be well, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.